Alright folks, welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and this is my round 4 predictions in the AFL 2021 season. Really looking forward to it. This particular week is a little bit difficult. Well, they're all difficult to predict. I got 6 out of 9 last week. St Kilda, Port and Tigers all kind of letting me down on the predictions. Biggest upset was probably, based on the form going in, it was probably St Kilda. Or the Tigers as well, because they absolutely got hammered off the Swans. So anyway, very hard to predict at the best of times. But this week there's quite a lot of teams kind of evenly matched on form, not necessarily quality across the footy field, players like playing personnel or whatever, just based on form. There's quite a lot of tricky ones to predict. First up though on Thursday, 8th of April, SCG, Swans absolutely flying, second on the ladder behind the mighty Bulldogs. If it was up to me, I'd probably call the championship now and give the premiership to the Bulldogs. They're sitting top, just give them it. They're the best team in the history of footy of all time ever, the Bulldogs. Give them it, 2021 champions, woohoo. Sitting top, really doing well. Swans really doing well as well. Going into this 3-0. Really exciting brand of footy they're playing. A lot of players that I'm really enjoying, whether they're senior players from previous seasons or just ones that have broke through this incredible Swans Academy that they must have been having over the last few years. It's all starting to click into place and come into fruition for them, which is very exciting indeed. But Swans versus Essendon. Essendon actually got a very good win at the weekend. They won 143 to 68 against St Kilda. Nobody seen that coming. Absolutely battered them. But all that being said, Swans have broke a century 3 times this year. So far already in rounds 1, 2 and 3. I think they're strong. I think they're too strong for Essendon. I'm going with Swans win. This one's a big one. It's last year's premiers against last year's minor premiers, if you like. Port came top of the ladder before the finals footy started, and Richmond, of course, back-to-back premiers. The last time Richmond were there, this was in the finals, they won. They're at the Adelaide Oval. This one's really interesting indeed, because both teams really started pretty decent, to be fair, rounds 1 and 2, but both lost in ridiculous fashion by their standards. Both getting absolutely hammered. They're both on the end of one there at the weekend. Port getting smashed off West Coast Eagles out in the Optus, 108-71. But the Tigers against Swans, 117-72. So both teams, both similar form going into this, but somebody's got to win it in my opinion. Nobody predicts a draw. I'm going with Port purely for the home team advantage, and they are a good side. It's a difficult one really. I think either team really needs a win. They need a win. You can get out after round 4, 3 wins under your belt. It's not bad, but if you're half 2 wins, 2 losses, it's not brilliant for the confidence. It's particularly if you're expected to do well. It's probably more pressure on Richmond in my opinion in this one. But the Bulldogs, let's make no mistake here, they're expecting something this year. I believe a lot of their fans are really excited about this year. And I wouldn't say they're expecting to win something, but they're expecting to better last year. And I don't see why they shouldn't, in my opinion. So anyway, Port win on Friday, big game. Saturday then, first up, the Bulldogs versus the Lions. This one, Bulldogs going into this 3-0. Lions haven't had a great form going into it. They've lost 2 and they won last week. Their win coming against Collingwood on Thursday by a single point. They haven't been massively convincing, the Lions, but they also haven't been bad. They'll want to get a couple of wins together, won't they? But they're probably picking they're probably coming up against one of the hardest teams in the competition right now. All sort of biased to the side. The Bulldogs are a very strong animal, I believe. I think a lot of people might write them off before anything had happened this year, but I've had great hope that this team will better, like Port, go one better, maybe two better this year, hopefully make the grand final, and anything can happen. But Bulldogs are playing very, very well in 2021, and I'm going with a Bulldogs win. It is at the Mars Stadium there. Bulldogs win 4-0. So St Kilda versus the Eagles. Eagles off the back of that great win then against Port at the Optus. St Kilda really on the end of one again there, weren't they? 143-68. They've lost 2 back-to-back now. This is a team that I've gave a lot of praise to, and I've bigged them up quite a bit. The form is possibly making a liar out of me, but I do believe they're a good side. I think it's probably going to be a difficult year when you judge what way it's going already at this very early stage. It could be a difficult season for St Kilda, but I still think they'll get in the top 8. I think they've got a lot in their team to go and do it. They play an exciting brand, and usually fast-paced, forward-thinking teams will do well this year. I think they've just started poorly. They'll need to bounce back quickly, but they are playing the Eagles, who on their day, when they're on their day, are one of the strongest teams in the competition. I think they could be found guilty of blowing too hot and cold, the Eagles, but I think they'll be too strong for the Saints. I'm going for an Eagles win at the Marvel. Suns versus Kelton then. This is a tough one. Both teams have only won 1 out of their rounds 1, 2 and 3. It is at the Metricon, so you could argue it's home advantage for the Suns. They are a decent team in how they're trying to play footy, but I think Kelton are a little bit better. Just a little bit better than what the Suns are. I think there's players there. Harry McKay really stepped up last week. Did he kick 6 or 7 goals? They were playing off the top of the Dockers, 109-64. I think he's kicked 6 or 7 and had like 5 behinds as well. So he's really getting himself in and about it. He's taking marks, he's kicking goals, he's improving all the time. And it's quite good for Kelton to have that option. Obviously they have a little small forward. We all know what Eddie Betts is capable of. If you get in and around the left or right pocket, the forward pocket areas, he is deadly. But it's nice to see the big tall forward and Harry McKay being a different option for Kelton, and it's starting to work. I believe Kelton are better than what their form suggests. It's quite disappointing in a way because they've got some guns in that team. Time will tell. Time will tell. Like, they need to run a few wins together. A few wins together to make their fans truly excited. But I think they're going to beat the Suns here at the Metricon. I'm going for a Kelton win. Collingwood versus Giants. I'm not going to mess about too much with this. Collingwood lost by a solitary point to Lions on Thursday last week. The Giants have been absolutely horrendous so far. It's a team that is clearly on the decline for whatever reason. They've lost players. I don't know if the sort of more attacking style of footy that's sort of favouring the tall forwards these days is affecting them, particularly with the loss of Jeremy Cameron. That would have been ideal for him a little bit, the way the game's playing. It's definitely suiting the forwards in 2021 so far. There's no doubt about that. It's the year of the gold rush, not the gold rush. It's the year of the goal rush, I believe. I think we'll get people in and around the 80-90 goals this year. Several players in and around that. I think it's going to be quite a high kicking year. It's looking good so far, and do you know what? I'm thoroughly enjoying it, to tell you the truth. It was quite tactical at times last year, and maybe a little bit in 2019 as well. People able to stop forward players, nullify them if you like, and I wouldn't say negative footy, but it's a lot more fast paced, a lot more forward thinking, and at the end of the day we all want to be entertained and excited by what we're seeing, and that's what's happening in 2021, so I'm all for it. It's really enjoyable to watch, but the Giants have been very, very poor. I don't know, I can't put my finger on it. I put the question to you, what is the main reason for the Giants lacking form? The decline, it's actually quite a quick decline. I was saying it would be a steady decline out of the 8 over the next couple of years, but it looks like it could be quite a sharp decline so far if you're judging it on rounds 1, 2 and 3, sorry. But they'll go against Collingwood and they'll think, Collingwood are only won 1 and 3 as well. They're there for the taking. They are a big club, they've got good players as well, but form hasn't been great from Collingwood either, so it's definitely a game that the Giants will fancy. But I'm going with a Collingwood win, regardless of all of that. I'm going with a Collingwood win at the MCG. On to Sunday then, North Melbourne versus the Crows. Tex is on fire for the Crows. I just want to shout his name out there. I know he's a player that probably has took heavy criticism, maybe for the amount of goals that he's been bringing to the Crows over the last couple of years. He's been criticised, but this year he's off with a bang. I don't know if he's leading the Coleman race right now. I've not actually checked, but I'm sure he's up and around the top of it. North are in terrible form. 3 defeats, but 3 hammerings really, and they're nowhere near it. I think they're probably going to end up wooden spoon. Even at this very early stage, I would probably be quite confident in predicting them for the wooden spoon, just purely by their way they're playing as well as the form. So yeah, I'm going with a Crows win. I'm going with a Crows, quite a good one actually. I think they'll win by, will they hit over 100? I don't know, but will it be a big enough margin to say it was a bit of a going over? I think it will be actually. I think North fans will be pretty pissed off to hear that, but I think if they're watching what we're all watching, they can understand people thinking that and saying that. But I wish them well. I hope they do well. It's not nice seeing teams lose 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. It's not good for the fans. I mean, we can get a laughing joke. It's sport. It's good to have a laughing joke at your rival clubs or whatever. But I'm sure there's North fans absolutely gutted. They back their team. They pay money to go support that team. So for that respect, I don't wish that sort of run on them. But I don't think it's going to be a very good season for you. That's all I'm saying. So on to the next game, Melbourne versus Cats. Melbourne's going into this 3-0, and let me tell you, they've played some lovely stuff so far already in this tournament. Cats have won the last 2, losing in round 1. I think the Cats have been scraping their way through the games, to be honest with you. That game there, they won 69-64. I think the game before that, they played the Lions. I'll just have to check my previous notes. Round 2, they played the Lions, and it was a single point. And the Cats in round 1, let me see, they were beat off the Crows 103-91. So the games are tight, they are competitive, but they're reasonably low scoring by 2021 standards so far. And I think they need to get their act together and fast. I know they've won 2 games, and you would say 2 wins out of 3 ain't bad, what are you talking about? But I think they need to get their act together fast, and maybe change the style of footy that they're playing. It's not that attractive. All that being said, Melbourne's a team going in the better form, but I think Cats will do it. I'm predicting a Cats win at the MCG. I still think they're a good side, the Cats. 100% think they'll be up and around finals footy, but they are just a team that just don't excite me to watch right now. Whether or not it's because Dangerfield got suspended, I don't know what it is, but they're really scraping their way through the game so far, and they haven't been mightily convincing as yet. It's very, very early on in the competition. So last but not least, last game, Dockers versus Hawks at the Optus. Last game on Sunday. Both teams have only won an individual game. Dockers win come at the Optus. They lost 2 away and won 1 at home. And because of that, I'm going to back them for the win. Both teams kind of similar, and players kind of similar, and the way they try and play the game. Just very, very middle of the bag 2 teams right now. Maybe something will change somewhere down the line, but I'm going with a Dockers win. I think the Dockers will do it. So just quick recap of who I think is going to win. Swans, Port, Bulldogs, Eagles, Carlton, Collingwood, Crows, Cats and Dockers. Yay! And that's my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are in the comment section below. Boss Baby says hello. Check out all of our social media platforms in the description section below. Don't forget to subscribe and fire the bell on, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.
You have to go